session we share.
Oh,
I,
beautiful.
I really, I'm really looking forward of getting more of this, more practice, more education.
Oh,
Thank you.
yay.
Thank you so much. Yeah. We
But
tend to be problem solvers,
Oh,
listeners, and yeah. So this is really new to us.
It's a good
yeah.
practice.
it's true, you
Yeah.
know, it's one of the things Emily and I were just talking about. We had forgot to mention to people that one of the hardest parts of giving empathy is it's our nature to want to jump in and fix. We want to solve the problem. We want to fix it. And this is this step before getting to solutions.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? And that's appropriate for everybody who's coming back to us to listen. I was working with a client today, and he had a big challenge with his girlfriend over the weekend. And I said, wow, she, you know, it sounds like you're really wanting empathy. He said, I don't want empathy. I want solutions. Right? I said, yeah, but see, the thing is, if you come right at her with wanting solutions, you're going to get right back into the same power struggle you've been in all weekend. Whereas if you create the space for her to just drop in and feel your frustration, your concerns, your fears, and then likewise lean into what's going on for her, then you guys can create the quality connection. And then we can, when both people feel understood and felt, we have a better chance of coming up with a solution that both people feel good about.
That's right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I, on that line, I do want to say that we didn't talk about it, but again, of course, it's learning to differentiate what is empathy and what is not. So when we're in reassurance, that's not empathy. Reassurance can be a form of fixing. It's actually okay. You don't have to feel scared. I want to tell you how courageous you are. That's actually a form of reassurance and appreciation, which again, it's not bad that you did that, but it's not empathy. So it's learning what is empathy and what is not. And that's some of the subtler nuances that you get good at with this kind of work. So I want to encourage everyone in the soul work, in Relationship Essentials, is to look at that page called Empathy Blockers. And there's several great examples of what's not empathy. Also the no fracking, no fixing, no rescuing, no advice giving, no denying person's experience. And I've also been sharing some stuff on the Facebook page about some other saboteurs of empathy. So I just encourage you all to get to know those, and again, to learn to differentiate when am I in empathy and when am I in not.
So it's 8 o'clock, and something I suggested to Emily that we want to check in with all of you about is if some of you are feeling like, wow, I'm just getting warmed up, I want to continue to practice, I'm willing to stay with all of you for a little while longer, and keep the practice going. So certainly we're not going to judge anybody if you're ready to go home, get some dinner. I'm going to make dinner after this is all over. But if people do want to stay and do a little more practice, we can do one more round of practice. So by raise of hands, who would like to stay and do one more round of practice? Ooh, okay, I see Elia, Dijon. Okay, so enough people to make that happen. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Emily lead a little closing for those of you that are going to leave. And then once I see who's still with us, I'll recreate breakout groups so that you can all do another round of practice. So I'm going to turn it over to my beloved partner.
So let's take a moment and just close our eyes for a minute and drop in. I know that several of you may stay on here, but let's just take a moment of repose and of centering, taking some deep breaths and just allowing ourselves to settle back into our body. With each exhale, just imagining all the energy collecting back to yourself, maybe putting some hands on your body, dropping into this precious moment of your experience, whatever you're feeling in this moment. And I really would like to invite everyone to celebrate yourself. Celebrate how you've shown up tonight. And perhaps, can you remember something that somebody said on the call that felt validating? Maybe someone appreciated you for something that you said or a way that you showed up. Just seeing if you can take a moment and sip that in. Just knowing that you're so worthy and deserving of this celebration and appreciation. And taking a moment to also just celebrate all the courageous souls that showed up tonight. These amazing beings that are transforming the world through their expression, through their light, through their beingness, through their vulnerability. And gently, in your own time, coming back into the room. Thank you all very much. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. And we're looking forward to seeing everybody this next Saturday who's in the Relationship Essentials course. The soul work is up, and so you might want to check that out. It's up in the membership site and on the Facebook page. The replay is also up on the Facebook page and in the membership site. And this coming week, it's all going to be about emotional intelligence and how we can learn how to build our emotional intelligence. So I'm excited to see everybody next Saturday that are in our course. And thank you so much for coming tonight.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And for those of you who want to stay for a little more practice, just stay tuned here. We'll say goodbye to our friends for the evening. Bye-bye, Emily. I love you, love. Let's touch in the morning. So we'll see who's going to stick around for a little more practice. Oh, wow, quite a few of you are still here. Okay, and I'm taking a look at the chat box. Looks like there's a few chats. Great. Okay, cool. All right. So is there anybody here who is not up for one more round? Are you all ready for one more round of giving and receiving empathy? Great. Okay. I love it. That's awesome. So I'm going to make this 12 minutes so you really have enough time to drop in with each other and each of you gets a chance. A couple of you I know have asked for Orion and Murzel. I'll put somebody in with you. So I am going to recreate the rooms. It's going to take me a minute to do that. Okay. So let me just see who's here. Okay. Okay. It's going to take me a minute to do this. It's kind of weird the way it is. It doesn't let me start from scratch. So, okay. So a lot of you are going to be paired up with some new people.
Something that'll just chime in while you're doing this, Scott, if I might just riff on empathy for a moment. A core lesson that I've went through with giving and receiving empathy is I used to give empathy that was like really up in my head, and I used to like pull up the feelings and needs list while I was trying to give empathy, and it was coming from an intellectual space. And I feel like just recently I've made a deeper transition into like really feeling and expressing from my body instead of my head. So that was a core insight, and that came up in my breakout group that I did in the last year. So thought I would just fill some space around empathy.
If you could fill just a little more space, that would be really, really cool. I'm almost done.
Yeah.
It's a little tricky because I'm there we go, room 8. All right, I think everybody should have a partner. I think I got it right. So I'm going to open the rooms. Remember to click join. And if any of you need help, just raise your hand and I will come into your room. And otherwise, 12 minutes. Okay, great. Yay. Hey, little buddy.